Morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's always a pleasure coming into the CII event of the big picture. It's especially great being in this ministry because I get to interact with the most creative minds, especially in terms of creating business out of media and entertainment as well. This is the 5th edition, and the very fact that you all get together annually and you put your minds together, finding solutions to way ahead, I think it's a fantastic way of taking our industry forward. Like Sudhanshu said right now, that we could be the global leaders very soon. A thought came to my mind that the Western countries may have taken the first run, but the century will be scored by us. So the industry is very rapidly changing, of course, right from the way we create content to where we access content, to where we deliver the content, the revenue models of the whole industry. It's continuously getting fragmented, and newer revenue models are being created. The market distributions are changing, talent and skill is changing and increasing rapidly. In fact, the kind of population that we have and the kind of skill that we can actually create, it's mind-boggling, and that's why I feel that India can be the leaders in this business in times to come. Even now, it's a treat. It's very, very heartening to hear when one says, and which I learned recently, that most of the Hollywood films are actually, all the animation effects and the visual effects are being done by Indians, and mostly in India. It's absolutely amazing, and it's a great sense of pride that comes in every Indian. And this is just the beginning. Even when you see the film like Bahubali, I think one of the best things about Bahubali was not just the story, but also the fact that it was made in India. And that gave a great sense of pride to all of us. Very, very limited centers of excellence are there right now where information technology, graphics, and such education is being taught right now. It can be extended. We have minister here from Karnataka. Karnataka is one of the leaders in this, but it needs to expand. And that's where the industry and the government can come in together to put the experts, to put the facilitators together, to try and create more such centers of excellence all around the country. In fact, when I speak of center of excellence, it comes to my mind that Ministry of Information and Broadcasting is actually now creating a center of excellence for gaming, visual effects, and animation. And that we are doing in Mumbai, the closest to the industry. So we are not taking to where the minister belongs. We are not taking to, which usually used to happen. We will take it to where the industry is. So there's maximum amount of cooperation between the industry and the center of excellence. And the government is very clear on that. We will create the infrastructure, but we will let the faculty be run professionally. So we need a private partner who can bring in the sort of high expertise in faculty. And we propose to do that in Mumbai very soon. I think with the most of the DTH operators, most of the broadcasters will agree that kind of accessibility with the government is very, very high these days. A lot of times, Sudhanshu, you and other people from the industry, from the CII, we're getting together regularly and interacting as to where we need to bring about changes. You spoke about disruption, absolutely. From time immemorial, disruptions have happened. It's only now that the disruptions are increasing. We should never shy away from embracing disruption. We can learn later whether it's good or bad. Usually it's good. Delhi has its own lessons actually about disruption. Nevertheless, so these are the kind of things where the ministry can really step in and help the experts. Even in terms of, I was speaking about the DTH, we have very limited players as of now, but the government is trying to do its level best to, and very soon we're going to come up with a policy which is going to help the DTH. Even broadcasters, the method that they are delivering the content, which is mostly now on the smaller screen, which is, as I said right a little earlier, the smaller screen is now becoming the big screen of the future. We have a the digital, the amazing. And gradually all this is going to come into consumption as well. Of course, the revenue models have to be thought of by the industry, which is a challenge as of now. But the way the content is reaching, the way the content is being shared, even the way the content is being created. Very recently, on the 2nd of October, we thought we'll have a competition for short films, 1 minute, 2 minute films being sent in by anyone who could record in a HD format. And HD format, as you all know, is recorded on simple mobiles. And we had about 4,000 entries come in, and each one was an amazing film made. So it was extremely competitive and difficult to judge the best short film possible. So these are the methods that anyone can create a film, anyone can share the film. Broadcasters are in for a big competition now for that. And I spoke about the skill development. I believe the minister was here a couple of days, yesterday I believe he was here. And even in terms of skill development, I'm happy to state here that FTII, the Films Television Institute in Pune, as a first time is taking the education out of the campus. So we're going to take these certification courses all across the country, starting with Guwahati very soon. There are millions of people, young minds, who are so interested in learning how television can be run, how graphics can be created, how editing is done, how filming is done. And we need to now take the education to them rather than wait for them to come into very limited brick and mortar educational centers. Similarly, we have a large number of films that are now being supported by Government of India. In terms of the Cinematographic Act is going to change very soon. It's a decade-old Cinematographic Act which we have right now. We're going to change that. We've had a whole lot of controversy on the Censor Board. The government has been very clear on that. And in fact, to that effect, on the 1st of January 2016, and obviously when we do something on the 1st of January, we want to send a message across. So on the 1st of January 2016, we announced Shyam Benegal Committee, and to bring about and suggest changes in the Cinematographic Act and the way censoring is done, or the way films are viewed by the certification board, and gave them a large scope to work within. And I'm happy to state that we're going to remove most of the restrictions that have been put by the previous government, whichever party it has been. We're going to remove all those restrictions, and we will perhaps very soon limit the certification process to as less as use of scissors as possible. And the restrictions, if at all, would be only the restrictions which are there in the constitution of our country. I think that's being very, very fair. Anything that you cannot speak off the camera, you cannot speak on the camera. Yeah. So I think it's very clear. So in these days when internet has really reached every home, restrictions on what you can see is not really feasible. Even in terms of how broadcasters are approaching the ministry, we have changed the method, and we're very soon going to introduce online applications so that the broadcasters, whenever they apply for a new channel, can very easily access the ministry and also track their applications. Also, in terms of the security clearances that are required from the ministry for putting up any new channel, we have also taken steps to reduce the burden for the channels there. Anytime when any channel puts in a request for a second channel, they don't have to go in for security clearance unless they have a change of directors. So it's become much easier now. So once a company gets license from us, they can put up multiple channels without really going to MHA for security clearances. The films, when they go for film festivals, we have introduced funding for such films so that our Indian films try and win as many awards as possible. So this was not there earlier, but we've done this. The reason is that we understand that it's just not entertainment. It is also promoting our culture. It is also soft power projection. And therefore, when we can win in sports, we need to win in films as well. So we're going to fund films which are now going to go for various film festivals up to the tune of about 1 crore each film. The number of film festivals that we are having all across the country and internationally are on the increase. The International Film Festival in Goa, we're trying to have as many people come in, as many experts come in from across the globe, so that our people who are potential filmmakers or filmmakers learn as much as possible from them. Also, the film bazaar that we have in the International Film Festival is one of the greatest places to actually be able to access financiers, the directors, producers, and everyone there with the concept which is there in Film Bazaar. So that's also being promoted as much as possible. Sudhanshu, you were there in Cannes when you walk on the streets in France, you would have noticed most of the advertisement there were of Indian companies. So that's the kind of trend there is now. That's the kind of domination there is now of the Indian media industry, and no wonder it's going to grow. And I'm sure, confident that very soon, most films would be being made in India, even if they are in any other language, even in terms of the content which is coming on television, content which is coming on your mobile phones through digitization is going to be perhaps touched by at least some or the other Indian, wherever in the world. So I wish you all the best, and good luck for this, putting the heads together, coming up with solutions, finding ways and methods. You can be rest assured that the Government of India is going to be completely at your service to try and facilitate, to come up with policies to make this industry even more stronger. Thank you.